What's up you guys, and welcome to ATV. Now this is a special video because I will be giving my top 20 favorite movies. Now this is my current list of my top 20 favorite movies as of today. This list can change, it always changes. There's always something that I like more and I put on the list differently. But these are my top 20 at this moment. Warning, this video contains a lot of spoilers, and if you do not want the movies ruined for you, I have the list written down in the link description. So check that out. If you want to check the movies out yourself, they'll be in the link below. So, let's get on to it. Top 20 favorite movies starting now. Number 20, Goodfellas. So this movie is about a man who wants to become a gangster, and once he does, he meets these two guys, and they become best friends. And I really don't want to ruin too much for you if you have not seen this movie yet, because it's a very fantastic mobster film. But a lot happens. One gets killed, and one gets married. One gets life in prison. It's a great movie. I really don't want to ruin too much for you, but yeah, Goodfellas. On to the next one. Number 19, From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn is about two criminals who go on a killing spree and kidnap a father and his daughter and son, and they go to this bar and they encounter a lot of hot vampires. Enough said. Number 18, Flatliners. Now this movie my dad showed me, and it was a really good movie. The movie's about a group of doctors, not really doctors, they're student doctors. They're learning to be a doctor, but one doctor in particular is studying like, what do you see when you die? Like, he's trying to prove if God and the heavens exist. And that's what he does. He kills somebody, keep them under for a certain amount of time, and then bring them back and try and see what they saw. Sometimes it's bad things from the past, or something very great. So that's what Flatliners is about. Number 17, Bad Boys. So this movie's about a man named Mick O'Brien who accidentally kills another man's little brother and goes to juvie for a certain amount of time. And later on, that same man who is the older brother shows up at the prison. They have a big fight, one of the most epic fight scenes ever made. But that's pretty much the whole gist of the movie. A lot of things happen in the prison, and it's a fantastic movie. Number 16, Falling Down. So this movie is about a man who goes by the name of D-Fins, because you never really see or hear his actual name, but the cop goes by him as D-Fins because that's the name on his license plate. D-Fins stands for defense. Anyways, that's besides the point. But he got fired from his job, and you know, nothing is going like it's supposed to. He's just trying to get from point A to point B, and that's to go home to his family for his little daughter's birthday. But everything just breaks loose. He snaps, and he goes ballistic. And that's pretty much the whole gist of that movie, but it is a fantastic movie. Number 15, Natural Born Pranksters. So Natural Born Pranksters is about the three YouTube pranksters, Roman Atwood, Vitaly, and Dennis. And this whole movie is pretty much all the pranks that they would normally do on YouTube, but on a much higher scale level. Number 14, Psycho. So Psycho is about a woman who steals a lot amount of money that really doesn't belong to her. She goes onto a trip and stops at a motel, the Bates Motel, which she meets Norman Bates, the owner of this motel. And he explains that his mother is not right, a little loony. And about halfway in the movie, she gets killed by the mother, and her sister is now looking for her. She can't find her nowhere. She stops at the motel, and she discovers that the mother is actually dead, and that Norman was playing the mother. What was that? I just had like a little spasm just then. Number 13, Strangeland. Now this movie is about a psychopath who goes by the name of Captain Howdy, who lures people to go to his house via the internet just so he can torture them. I wouldn't be talking to this fool because he is sure creepy. Number 12, House of a Thousand Corpses. Two couples take the back roads across America to write a book about all the crazy stuff you see on the side of the road. Now this one is definitely crazy. They come across a place called Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen. And he explains about the murder ride and all the crazy things that happen in the area, and one Dr. Satan. And one of them is curious about this Dr. Satan thing, and they run across Baby, who was a crazy lunatic, and takes them to their house, which is filled of 1,000 corpses. And they come across crazy people, and crazy people, and crazy people. And this movie was such a great success that they made a sequel in 2005, known as The Devil's Rejects. But sadly, this movie is not on the list. Number 11, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I know I said that wrong. Cuckoo. 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 So this movie is about a man by the name of Randall Patrick McMurphy, or Pete McMurphy for short, who is committed to this mental hospital because they think he is a lunatic. He fights and he talks to himself, chew bubble gum in class. That's a funny joke that he says in the movie. Anyways, he's in this hospital. He makes a lot of friends, a lot of enemies, and he doesn't listen to protocol. He doesn't listen at all. He fights people, fights the staff, and then by the end of the movie, they were planning an escape, and it failed. He got lobotomized, and one of his closest friends in the mental institution kills him to put him out of his misery, and they escape the prison. Mental hospital. But it's like a prison. Number 10, The Cobbler. Now, lots and lots of people actually hate this movie. I actually thought that it was very good for Adam Sandler's career, but it was a very great movie. The movie is about an old-time shoe sewing machine that he ends up using to repair shoes. And whenever he puts those shoes on after using it on the shoe sewing machine, he actually turns into the person that owns the shoes before. And while wearing them shoes, these magical shoes that could turn him into any person he pleases, he gets into some kind of trouble. And thus, that's pretty much the entire movie, but it's a great movie. Number 9, The Crow. So the movie is about a man named Eric Draven who gets murdered by this gang, and so does his fiancée, and he comes back from the dead 3 years later to get revenge on them for killing him and his fiancée. You can't talk about The Crow and not mention the fact that the actor that played the Crow was killed on set by defective gun blank. Yeah, I have nothing but tragedy to say today. Number 8, The Three Stooges. Now, I'm not talking about the 2012 movie, The Three Stooges the movie. Now, this movie is actually tells the actual story about the real people. You know, Mo Howard, Larry Fine, and Jerome Curly Howard, and Shemp, and Joe, and Curly Joe, and everybody who ran the Three Stooges movies. Now, this movie just tells the entire story about how the Three Stooges became a thing and leading to their death. But it's a fantastic movie, and if you could find this movie, you'd probably find it on Amazon. But it's a great movie. Number 7, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now, this movie is your typical high school movie, but it doesn't really cover one whole story in particular. I like the way these movies work, you know, movies where it covers many people's stories. Like it covers one group of people and the next group of people and the next group of people. So I'm not going to really talk about everybody, but every little student in this school has a story. And it can be told in under an hour and a half, which I think is amazing. Number 6, Super 8. Now this movie is about a group of kids who film movies on a Super 8 camera. And one night while filming, they encounter something very odd. Aliens. Lots of them, actually. Which eventually leads to aliens coming to Earth and destroying literally everything. Great movie. Number 5, The Stand. Now this movie is insanely long. It's like 6 hours long. It's a complete full movie. But if you can make it through it, it's a very fantastic movie. The movie is about pretty much the battle between good and evil. Now there's this sickness filling the earth, and everybody's dying from it, but only a certain amount of people are immune to the disease. And those people are like godly, you know, I just had a brain fart. So this group of people are battling a man by the name of Randall Flagg, who is the devil. And pretty much the entire movie, you know, there's all these people that are immune to the disease, and there are the good people, and there are the people that were misled. Now these misled people, you know, you got the trash man, and you got all the people that are on the devil's side, but they didn't realize who they were on. They didn't realize whose side they were on. And then some of them apologize, and some of them die before they can apologize. But it's a fantastic movie. Like I said, it's the battle between good and evil. Number 4, American History X. Now this movie is about a white supremacist who goes to jail because he kills some people for breaking into his truck. And once he gets out of jail, he realizes that his little brother is following in his footsteps, becoming one himself. And pretty much the whole movie is him trying to stop him from what he's trying to do. And the movie ends before he can hand in his report to his principal, which is American History X, that's what he calls it. And he gets killed by the end of the movie, his little brother. But it's a great movie, and I suggest you see it. Number 3, Django Unchained. So this movie is about a slave named Django. And a nice man walks up to him when he runs up to him and takes him to get his freedom. These two guys are also on the quest looking for his wife. He ends up to this place, Candyland, with Calvin Candy, which is played by Leonardo DiCaprio. And the whole movie is pretty much him getting his freedom and him finding his wife, and a lot of other crazy stuff happens in this movie. It's a very great movie, one of the greatest I've ever seen. Definitely watch this if you can. Number 2, The Hateful Eight. As you can probably tell, I do love Tarantino movies. Anyway, The Hateful Eight is about 8 different people who meet up into this place called the Haberdashery. That's the name of it, Haberdashery. And each of them's got a secret. Nobody can be trusted. And by the end of the movie, 4 people that were in the place betrayed everybody and killed. It's like one of those movies that you don't hear the full story till by the end of the movie. It's still a great movie. It's very long, but it's a great, great movie. And finally, we are at number 1. Now, when I was making this list, I couldn't find a movie that would fit this spot best. And most people probably know what movie I'm about to pick. So here it is. Number 1 is Pulp Fiction. Now, the movie Pulp Fiction is presented out of context. You know, you'll see somebody alive in the beginning of the movie who is now dead by the end of the movie, and then you see them at the end of the movie. You know, they're alive in the beginning, they die in the middle, and they're alive again at the end. The whole movie is presented that way, like the entire story is out of order, but by the time you get to the end of the movie, everything comes full circle. And that's why I picked that for number 1, because it's such a fantastic movie. Well, thank you guys for watching my top 20. As I said before, this list can change, and I may do another one of these videos soon. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I'm also Taylor, and thank you for watching ATV. Good day to you, sir.